How's it going, everyone? My name is Danny from Built Because Race Car, and welcome to the first episode of Tracksidetalks, which is going to be an F1 theme segment that I'll be adding over into this channel. F1 is something that I'm very passionate about, so I would love to create an environment where we can all have different opinions, talk a little bit about what's going on, cover the preseason, cover the races throughout the season as well, and everything in between. So we have a lot to talk about already to start this 2024, so let's just get straight into it. So of course, starting off with what is the biggest news of the last couple years and will be the biggest news for 2025 as well, is that Sir Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, will be leaving Mercedes-AMG Petronas in order to join Scuderia Ferrari for 2025. Now, this change comes at the beginning of the 2024 season as a surprise to almost everyone. Maybe some of you out there saw this coming, but even Toto Wolff expressed the fact that to him this wasn't too much of a surprise, that he kind of saw this coming around just because of the nature that Mercedes has been offering shorter contracts to Hamilton, and that he saw that probably somebody would come up with something a little bit better at some point. He thinks the timing of this was of course weird without even starting the 2024 season, creates a little bit of drama for this year, hopefully doesn't create too much tension within the Mercedes team, but definitely creates new expectations for the 2025 season. Now, I personally never thought I would be seeing Lewis Hamilton, and I'm a huge fan of Hamilton, as you can probably see from my poster up here. I never thought I would see him wearing the historic Ferrari red, but after reading the details of the contract, it's of course understandable that he's looking for a new challenge. He's of course getting a better contract as well from them. Maybe at the end of the day, just Ferrari wanted Lewis a little bit more than Mercedes did. So it looks like allegedly of course, the contract that he has negotiated is just north of $85 million for the 2025 season, with an option to extend into 2026 as well. Now, there was rumors going around about an ambassador position either in Mercedes or Ferrari, but none of this has been confirmed so far. So let me know down in the comments who you think could replace Hamilton for the 2025 season. As I said, this is going to be one of the biggest challenges for Mercedes. Not only that, but the fact that Hamilton is leaving the team could also indicate that a lot of the engineers from Mercedes might have some loyalty to Hamilton, and they might get recruited by Ferrari as well. So does Mercedes have a bigger problem in hand than we actually expect? Not only those engineers, like I said, but the driver. Who will be replacing Lewis Hamilton? Will it be somebody young with a lot of years to come in F1, maybe such as Alex Albon, somebody that has been putting great results in a car that maybe is just not set to be the best one, a car that might be for the back of the field, but he's producing results in the midfield, somebody with a lot more experience such as Fernando Alonso, which has of course shown that even with his age, he's still one of the best in the game, or somebody that hasn't been in F1 yet and that could be given an opportunity. So someone maybe such as Pato O'Ward coming from IndyCar, which would be also very interesting to see that. So I do think this change is very positive, not only for Hamilton, but for the F1 sport as well. For us fans, it's going to keep us entertained throughout this 2024 season, and we're already looking forward to 2025 to see what is going to happen with Ferrari and Hamilton and see how that formula kind of works out. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if Hamilton was able to win his 8th world championship alongside a historic team such as Ferrari? That would be a sight that I think even people who might not be fans of Lewis Hamilton would love to see, and it would be just an amazing way for him to end his career as the best in history. So leave your comments down below about the situation. I really want to hear everyone's opinion about what you think will happen. And also, like I said, let me know who you think will replace Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes. So the news about Hamilton are not the only news for the start of this 2024 year. We have some changes going along the grid as well. There wasn't too many drivers changes for this year, pretty much none really, which is a little bit boring, but at the same time, we're getting 2 teams that are getting rebranded. The Sauber team, which used to be Alfa Romeo, will now be called Stake F1 team, or I've also seen them being called Kick Sauber F1 team. I'm not 100% which ones of the two they'll use because their actual Instagram page, for example, says Stake F1 team, but on the Formula One side, they've been calling them the Kick Sauber team. Pretty sure there's still a little bit confusion behind that. Nonetheless, I'm not too much of a fan of the name, but still waiting to see the liveries and the new branding and the image and see how it's gonna look, because it might be something interesting. But if you thought that Stake F1 Kick Sauber team, whatever, was ridiculous, of course we have the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, which is just an absolutely ridiculous name for an F1 team, if you ask me. But, you know, nonetheless, that's the decision they made. There was a lot of talks before this even happened that it was going to be a Hugo Boss sponsored team or an Adidas sponsored team, and neither of those two happened. Instead, we ended up with this weird branding that honestly, I would have preferred they just leave it as AlphaTauri, or I think if the Red Bull team would have gone back to Toro Rosso, that would have been an absolute hit for just the fans, because everyone used to love the image of Toro Rosso, and it would be nice to just have them on the grid again. So what do you guys out there think about the new rebranding for those two teams? Do you think they made the right decision? I've seen a lot of controversial thoughts, of course, about those names, but I just want to hear your opinion, so leave them down below in the comments. So taking advantage that we already spoke a little bit about the rebranding that those teams are having, let's talk about the liveries that already came out and were made public, especially for McLaren, who were the first ones to release it very early this year. And it looks like, of course, they're going to be keeping their papaya orange in good old McLaren style. Now we have a lot more black going around the car, which I think is going to be a trend that we're going to be seeing in a lot of the cars just because of the weight reduction aspect. So a lot of teams are eliminating the paint itself and just leaving exposed carbon fiber for their parts, because every single milligram matters in F1. So they're just trying to save as much weight as possible. So if you see a lot of black going around, or a lot of exposed carbon fiber, I should say, it's probably because of those weight savings that they're trying to accomplish. Now for the McLaren team, honestly, I could do without the chrome caps, but overall I could do without the wheel caps in general. I think the wheels underneath have a beautiful design, and it would be great if F1 just took off those regulations for those covers and we could actually see the wheels throughout the race, throughout the practice weekends. I think it would just look a lot better on the cars. But nonetheless, for the McLaren specific livery, I would remove those Google Chrome caps ASAP and put just regular black or just exposed carbon fiber ones. But I'm sure that Google Chrome is paying a hefty amount to have their logo right there, so we won't get into that and just respect it. I do think the livery of McLaren is very good for this year, so it'll be nice to see that on track as well. Another team where we can see the carbon fiber trend going around has been the second team that released already their livery for this year. It's Haas F1 team, of course. You can see the car just has a lot more black than last year, like I said, and it's not black paint, but it's all exposed carbon fiber, once again, in order to go for those weight savings. Now, I think the Haas design is very nice. I think it'll be very good on track, but for Haas, honestly, their design for the livery is the least of their worries. They really need to step up their game for the 2024 season and try to get out of last spot, because it's been year after year after year not producing results. And of course, now we have the exit of Gunther Steiner from the team. So we'll see how that develops the team into 2024. And if maybe they can get some actual points, some better positions on the grid, that'll be, of course, the goal for Haas this year. So like I said, the livery is the least of their concerns. So those are the only two teams that have kind of released their livery as of right now. For next week, we'll do another episode once a lot of more of the other designs have come out, because for this, usually it's between the first and second week of February that everyone starts doing their car launches in order to prep for testing. Now, the last subject I wanted to touch with you guys in this first episode is the extent of the 2024 season. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about this because there's 24 races for this year, and it's the most amount of races ever in an F1 season. So a lot of people are saying that this is pushing the drivers too much, not only the drivers, but the staff as well. Because remember that all the members of the team have to be traveling around the world, being away from their families. Traveling, of course, opens you up to sickness, opens you up to jet lag, and never being in a schedule where you can kind of like feel normal, I would say. So is this pushing a little bit too far? Do you think that maybe F1 should cut back on the amount of races? Or maybe do you think that F1 should build their schedule a little bit more geographically oriented, so that way the traveling is not too heavy on both drivers and staff? Let's say they start at one continent, do as many races as they can there, and then move to another continent. So any human being, at the end of the day, F1 drivers are human beings, even though they have these amazing capabilities to drive these cars as fast as they do. But they are human beings at the end of the day, and most importantly, the entire staff that works for them, because these teams are made up of thousands of people that have to be traveling as well, away from their families, and just maybe putting their health at risk, which is, of course, what we don't want to see in F1. And F1 has made a lot of parameters for the drivers to be safe, so I think they should also be thinking about the safety of the staff when they schedule all these races so far away from each other. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that as well. So leave your comments down below of everything we talked about: Lewis Hamilton, the liveries, the 24 races for this year, because I think there's a lot coming for this year. We're going to be trying to do race recaps about after every race weekend. So I'm going to be trying to release that video either on Mondays or Tuesdays. So we see what happened throughout the weekend, the best memes from the weekend, the action that happened throughout practice, throughout qualifying, and the race day, of course. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching this first episode of Trackside Talks. If you liked it, if you enjoyed the content, if it was informative, please hit that like and subscribe button below so you don't miss anything. And the content that we do on this channel is not only F1 related, but go check out our other videos because we have a lot of supercars, hypercars, regular sports cars, reviews, POVs. So this channel is going to have a little bit of everything, and I just wanted to really bring the F1 fans along as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I bust soon. Know as a child back in the womb.